My name is Isaac. I'm here with my friends that is staying with me at Gebhardt. I'm getting hungry here. That's why when I asked to people water, and people did say, "Go away."
The state of the Namibian nation at present is a complex one. I guess it's a matter of perspective. And Lord knows there's a plethora of perspectives permeating our society. That's what this show's about. Thank you for joining me for this edition of It's a Wrap, your weekly current affairs program served with a drizzle of sizzling satire. This week, the president gave his perspective on the state of the nation. Here's what he had to say.
We continue to be rated by Transparency International as one of the least corrupt countries on the continent.
The state of the nation, as perceived by its citizens, is quite a departure from this. Meet Monica.
The pledge Hage made when he became president, he said, people don't eat conferences. Our people don't eat conferences. They eat food. So hence, I'm saying that our people, as much as the speech was very, very nice, our people don't eat speeches. They eat tangible, implementable interventions to fight poverty. And we have a lot to do, because if you look in terms of, in terms of education, out of 10 Namibian children, our grade 10 failing rate is very high. I was expecting Gaingop to touch on ancestral lands, because on it he only touched on it very, very shallow. The affluent have leased a big portion of land for recreation for their dogs, their dog club. And if you see, if the majority knew it, what is going on the other side, this will guarantee a social unrest, because you can't have people without, shelter is a fundamental right. You can't have people without houses, and there goes someone with a leash on a dog, training, having the facility, having a lease agreement with the municipality for 99 years. Then we are getting our priorities wrong as a nation. And as a nation, to see the Namibian society predominantly depends on single-headed households. Women are the biggest investors in education. And if it means that they're paying sky-high rents, so they can't put away, they can't put away money when their daughters have, or their children need to study, the government is going to sit with problems. Many parents have cancelled their study policies because, we are talking about the average price of a two-bedroom house being 8,000. It does not talk to our salaries. And our politicians, they don't have an interest to address the land issue, because they are the land barons. If you look at most of the flats mushrooming up in the city, they belong to who is who, the politically well-connected.
And here are the real issues on the ground, as reported by One Africa's resident news crew. In this week's crime report, compiled by Leston Vola.
There is allegedly a hoax phone call and SMS that has killed 25 people in Katima Mulilo. The SMS states that the message is from the Namibian police force.
The latest court victory by the affirmative repositioning movement suffered a blow this week, with the court having ordered residents of Sevenderlaan to vacate the area by the 28th of April. Leston Vola also produced this here.
It has almost been 14 days since the city police removed the shacks of the Sevenderlaan residents at 4 o'clock in the morning. Pendapala Mulanga, one of the residents whose shack was also removed, says that recent rains have destroyed most of their belongings. According to Mulanga's understanding, the city police were supposed to bring back the confiscated corrugated iron sheets last Friday.
Job retorted with an intention to appeal. Here's what he wrote.
Once we appeal on sound legal advice, the judgment of today will be temporarily suspended and be of no immediate effect.
On the flip side of that are the alternative facts. Fresh from SONA, our very dignified President Hage Geingob. The homie Joseph produced this here.
I would like to remove my heart as a head of state and address you as fellow Namibians. The son of a farm worker, the father of unemployed graduate, a responsible family man. My love for this country is what drove me into exile. It is what keeps me awake at night.
Our head of state had some tough questions to answer.
Honorable President, rhetoric and action are two different things. The office of the President is going to spend 9 million every year on new furnitures. With all due respect to your office and your personality, we are seeing reports that you have slept in a hotel of 2 nights for 700,000. How do we measure this rhetoric? The very strong message that you are putting with expenditure.
It's a lie. Let's go and come and interrogate it. Which hotel and where? It's a lie. I went to New York. There is a Waldorf where I used to stay, even as an ordinary person. When I went this time, it was about $10,000 a night.
Our nation's condition is such that local authorities were unable to account for $209 million Namibian dollars worth of taxpayers' money, according to a recent report in the Namibian.
I sat down with the Auditor General, Junius Kanjeke, to discuss this and the state of the nation's public enterprises.
We have many challenges in education, in health, in any other sectors. So we need those resources. Any wasted money, someone should be punished for wasting money. And those who have got authority to punish, they should do their work. I'm there to give the information, I'm there to give the evidence. Some other people should take their actions. Maybe we are, as a country, are concentrating on institutions. Maybe it's time to deal with individuals as well. I'm not talking about boards being suspended or boards suspending CEOs. No, I'm not talking about those ones. We have seen that. But I'm talking about an institution coming saying, yes, this happened at our institution, but that time I was not there. But I will try to answer. Maybe it's time now to say, yes, you are no longer with that institution, but we are calling you to answer what happened, what were you doing there?
The Auditor General also had some great advice for all Namibians facing these tough economic times.
At home, should also then change something, lifestyle. We have to change the lifestyle. Not just as a government, but as individuals. If we used to eat jam, butter, pine nut, avocado, and so on, maybe we have to scale down. If you used to driving a Mercedes Benz, maybe you should think something different. If you used to dress up different, some expensive clothing, maybe you should think differently. Then it goes up with the state. If we used to do certain things, or we are doing certain things, maybe scale down. The answer at the end, we should scale down until we can fit in the cake. When the cake grows, then yes, we can, why not? We can do something else.
A nation's future is determined by the state of its children, and our children are in a dire, dire state. Check this out.
The lights were red, and I was at the front of the queue, and all of a sudden on the other end I see about 4 or 5 street children. Pretty used to seeing them around that corner, and a man plainclothed with a gun. At that point I didn't realize that it was a plainclothes policeman, but they're walking across, and all of a sudden I just hear bam as he shoots into the ground, into the tarmac by these kids, and that's what I saw. So I was quite outraged, turned towards the right, and I noticed that there was a crime prevention bakkie to which they were now all walking, and I then deduced that he must have been a plainclothes policeman. I think the biggest outrage was the fact that looking at the children across the road was the same as looking at my son who was sitting next to me. They were around his age, and for me, safety, security, protection came up for me, because these are underage children.
The Namibian police were unable to give us proper feedback as to what had happened, but the nation was outraged.
Yolanda Kamerica posted, "Yep, they bashed my car too around 3 o'clock because I had no money to give them. And I almost got out to fight them, but traffic light turned green and I was forced by the car behind me to drive. Imagine, I thought they had stones, but a gun. Mariette Hanekom wrote, "An important thing to remember is to not ever give money to a child that is begging, because as long as begging is lucrative, they will continue doing it. If you want to give money, give it to one of the many charitable organizations that are trying to address this social problem." Polita Julie posted, "I just read on another friend's timeline that those kids were bashing motorist cars with their fists, bending their side mirrors, and threatening the motorist with rocks. One even had a 9mm handgun. Not condoning the police officer's actions since they're children after all, and weren't posing a threat to him, so there was no reason to shoot into the tarmac."
When I ask something to eat, just some people that is giving us the food here. When the sun is come out, they was also giving us the blankets. And we don't have water also now to drink. We are getting a place also to sleep. That's why we are asking help to government to see us with something of, give us some shoes. We want to go to school. We are surviving boys is many. And if someone to go to school and sitting in the class, they are just thinking about other boys. That is here, surviving boys. That's why we are going running from this. When I was more like this, one years old, my father did go away from my mother. And it's only my mother that was bringing me up. But now my mother is going to make 50 years old. But my mother is not getting the money from the post canton. They are just paying for my sister, small sister, because it's only his father was died. And they are getting 250 in the month. That's why we are getting problem in the house. That's why I'm going to change and say I will run to him.
Afra says that despite her outrage, she learned a whole lot more after posting to Facebook.
I've learned that these children are actually being sent by their elders. Some of them come from the south. Some of them come from elsewhere, but basically they're coming down from the mountain and they are sent. They are sent to go and find money.
And the minister said we shouldn't give these children money, though.
The community at large is not helping the situation. They are those individuals who fuels the problems by giving children on the streets money. These individuals are perpetuating the problems.
The minister also issued a stern warning to those who abuse children for their own gain.
I'm warning any person who is involved in this syndicate to stop it. To stop it, I'm a cruel woman in a way that will go with you to court.
What a sad state of affairs. We took to the streets to ask the nation what should be done about this.
My opinion to the street kids, what should the government do? It's maybe they should build a house where all the street kids can be staying.
When it comes to street kids, it's not very easy to rehabilitate them. That's why I think for many of them are labeled as street kids, but then I think they should be taken to schools, for instance hostels, where they can get something to eat each and every night.
I think what the government should do about this homeless kids on the street is they should build them a homeless shelter like the Americans do. Then the problem will be solved. Then they will be under a roof, something warm to eat.
I don't know how they actually do it. How do they survive for so long without the normal income and things we have?
It's a Wrap also recently reported on complaints from the public on telecom services.
For almost 8 years now, my biggest problem I have is the downtime that is constantly and consecutively. It happens during the day, after work as well. Paid the same as businesses, you get a slower line than a business during the day from 8 to 5 specifically. And the worst thing is when it's down, you have at least 2 to 3 days wait time before you see anyone from Telecom or even get feedback before the problem is resolved. And the problem is also not resolved within a week. It's usually about 2 weeks time.
I've been a Telecom customer, I think for about, past 4 years now. And they have really had reliable services. I know there's a technical problem that's going around nowadays, and I just think from my side, with a little bit of, with a small technical problem, there is no use just going around complaining and just, making a big fuss about the whole thing.
I'm actually annoyed with Telecom because, this has been going on for some time now. The internet lines have been going off and on.
It is not acceptable. Us as clients are unhappy. We don't like paying for services that we don't get. It is not right, it is not fair, and there is no compensation.
One company was so miffed, they even placed an advert in the newspaper. I sent a copy of this advert to the MD at Telecom and reminded him that I too was still eagerly anticipating the new modem he had promised me a few weeks ago. I got a brand new 4G Fritz box this week, and it's not much better, but I got to give the homie a break for trying. The pharmacy's complaint was also heeded, and now they're back online. Here's what the MD had to say. Let's see what's been eating Dudley's grape. The state of our neighbors down south, led by one Gebhardt Zuma, remains unchanged, and he's still on some... I got another perspective from a group who did not join the Zuma Must Fall marches.
For example, as a movement, we accept the recent cabinet reshuffle. We have been saying that the representative movement, the ex-finance minister of this country, Bieber, has been at the forefront to protect white interests and white banks in this country, while trying by all means to not open up any opportunities for black businesses to strive in this country. We are happy that the finance minister is out because he is also at the forefront to preach counter-revolution in this country and mobilize our people on false means. We do believe that the president is on the right track, putting a radical agenda. Why one tackle, one bullet? Because white people today, they have the audacity to take to the streets of South Africa and call for a one family to leave while they've gone into Africa. They've gone into Africa and enslaved our people. So we must not allow white people to divert our attention.
Check out these images from the protest.
South Africans still marched in their numbers and have vowed to do so until Gebhardt steps down.
The loss of lives on our roads is a major problem. We really need to do something about it.
Wow, this weekend is gonna rain, and please, Namibian, drive safe. Please, don't drink and drive because it's gonna rain. It's time to sit with your family and enjoy the Easter with your family. Please take care.
Namibia lost a great artist this week. Tony Figueira succumbed to illness. It's a Wrap is proud to have been associated with this legendary photographer and all-round legendary human being. Our condolences go out to all who loved him and to his family.
Hello Annie, welcome to our Canada Mix. Today you are going to help the people fill in this form. Okay. You know this form is very important because in the questionnaire it's actually asked questions about the people who are coming to donate. So on top of the question we have this form with this pamphlet. This pamphlet, it should be read by all the first-time donors. So the next stage here, you greet the donor, you explain to the donor what is going to happen
have to puncture her finger. Clean her with this one.
First.
Should be able to sit at the bottom there.
Yes. She's sitting?
Yes, it's sitting. Then it means the iron is okay. Then you tell her.
Your iron is just fine. Let us check that blood pressure.
They have to be over 100 and over 60. While you are having her form, you ask her, what is your name? She'll be able to tell you that. My name is Wendy. Then you check also here that it's really Wendy's form that you are having. So when she comes here, you read the donor test.
Hello again, Wendy. Looking for the veins, Wendy. Pumping the ball.
Approaching Easter, the blood stock tends to be low. So all the patients, there will be too much accident, or the patient that will be involved in a car accident, they'll get this blood. So it actually saves some people's life, including mine, maybe, of course, if I happen to drive.
Even mine.